So, Samir sir, uh, so I heard, we know that you have done the PhD, then you have done postdoc, then you have been to entrepreneurship. So why why did you choose a entrepreneurship? As was it your dream from beginning, or was it something happened after? Can you explain the process how you being ended up as a entrepreneur? Am I
Uh,
audible? So
and can you all hear me?
yes, sir.
Yes.
All 200 of you, or?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so it's good to be talking to so many people at the same time, and I'm pretty surprised the Zoom meeting works so well. So yeah, thanks for putting the question forward, Ivan. Ivan, I should call you Ivan, right?
Yes, sir. I'm Ivan.
I,
So can you explain the process, how you
yeah,
turn?
so the process is that when I joined IIT, I always wanted to become a scientist. And of course, that's the path I chose. So after MSc, I was very sincere about my research. So I published a paper, I did some projects and all. And of course, I got into a very good school for my PhD. And then I did successfully complete my PhD with good publication record and everything. But then one thing you should realize is that you cannot plan ahead that much in advance, because every stage of your career, the kind of skill set that you need to be successful is very what all you need to be a successful PhD student has nothing to do with what all it takes to be a good PhD student, has nothing to do with what all it takes to be a good software engineer or a mechanical engineer or a civil engineer, or being in technical field, or being in a managerial field. And also your priorities also keep on changing. So I did my PhD, I still wanted to become a faculty, so I did my postdoc, I really did well, and I kept enjoying my life. I mean, I had a really wonderful stay. I did wonderful.
I think audience some mics around. Can everyone mute the mics, please? Okay. Yeah. So please continue.
But as you grow older, and as you get more experience, and at different stage of your career your priorities change, right? And that's what happened for me. And
Okay.
so what I saw is that, I mean, it's mostly the change of priorities. So in Chicago, I was very active. I loved to teach. So, I was for 6 years, I was teaching. I was very actively involved in educational outreach. I was working a lot with different organizations within Chicago. And I designed these beautiful experiments and got a lot of traction. So these experiments were used by like people from all over the world. So I published some very nice papers on it, and I started receiving emails from professors and students from all over the world, Africa, Asia, everywhere, and they all wanted to do my experiment. And I really enjoyed doing what I was doing, but as a life of a faculty, it would have been very different. My priorities would have been very different. I would work with a small group of students. My daily job would require me to do certain things, not just focus on teaching and all. So I decided to quit everything at some point and decided to give this a shot, just to see my outreach work, to see the extent of it. And that's how I started my company. And it was kind of difficult but easy transition, because I was already working for 6 years. I was doing outreach work in Chicago. So I had some, let's say, customers lined up or opportunities lined up when I started, because all these people wanted me to, popularize my experiments. And that's how it all got started. And initially I moved back to India because I wanted to start my company in India. But there is Janma Bhoomi and there is Karma Bhoomi. So Chicago was my Karma Bhoomi. So it so happened that I ended up starting a company in Chicago. And eventually I started a small company in India also. And it's still a startup. So it's still in early stages. but I'm loving it and I enjoy it, I think. And the other thing is, again, I didn't want to compromise on the things that I love doing. I didn't want to compromise on teaching. So instead of teaching 50 students, now I'm teaching thousands because my product is being used everywhere, and it's very exciting, and it's, so I like to learn, so I'm learning a lot, which also I like. There are challenges, of course. A job of a professor or a job in an industry, as Gopu sir would tell you, the challenges which are very different. And I face very different challenges. But at the end of it, I still get to do things that I really enjoy doing, teaching, and this is like part of it, So
yeah,
my short answer.
great to hear that you continue your entrepreneurial career as well as the teaching. But many of the entrepreneurs who leave the academia still cannot enjoy if they're interested in teaching. So, is it easy to manage both at the same time?
I think there is a question from audience that can you tell us about the products? I think that will also connect.
Yeah, so if you just type solar cell and red wine on YouTube, you will see me. So you will know what I do. I should type it somewhere, right? So. So basically, I popularized several experiments in the field of solar energy. So solar cell fabrication itself was really complicated, but I invented a solar cell kit or several kits which simplifies the solar cell fabrication to an extent that a 10-year-old can actually fabricate a solar cell. And this particular experiment was not even accessible at a university level. Imagine an engineering student can have a solar cell, do IV characterization with a solar cell, but he can never fabricate one. And now in the US, fifth grader gets to fabricate solar cell and study solar cell properties. So that was the thing. So I designed several experiments and popularized several experiments. And basically my work is all about experiential learning. So you cannot learn anything by textbook, only by textbooks. But the whole idea is that if you want to become a good mechanical engineer, then you don't have to go to a university, just go to a workshop and learn, right? And so it's important. Hands-on experience and experiential learning is more important than bookish learning. That's the whole idea. So whatever content is there, it's not the content is not important. Content is important, but too much of the content is not required. What is required is what do you do with the content? Because with the current age, you can pretty much get any information just on your fingertips. Just type it on Google and you can learn about genetics and whatever you want, right? It's just out there. But how to make sense of that information and do something creative with that information is what you need to do going forward down the line, and you will grow in your career. Then it's not about how much content you know, because it's already out there. It's about how you use that content is what's going to differentiate you from others.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So I have a question to Gopu sir. Sir,
yes.
When you moved to industry, what was the difference in you felt like from academia to industry?
Yeah.
How was the freedom? What was the benefits? Can you please explain?
Yeah, sure. So before begin my discussion, so I want to say one Tirukural in Tamil. Okay, this written by a Thiruvalluvar 2500 years ago. What that Tirukural says is, Enni Tuniga Karmam Tuninda Pin Ennuvadam Irukku. It means that whenever you start something, you have to think twice or n number of time you can think. After starting, you should not think what I did is correct or wrong. So it will end up you in mess. So that is the thing I also did. So my intention also to when I'm entering as a PhD research scholar in IIT, I want to be a professor, scientist. Then the practicality we have to see. So how many people, the number of institutions, how many are there? How many people can become professor, scientist in good institutions? It's practically not possible. Then I taken a call. As Samir said, one point of time we have to take a call and we have to depend upon the situation. We have to divert ourselves. Then I thought, so I have to go for postdoc and run behind the more publication and I have to set my life as a simple or I want to explore myself my own way and I have to earn and I will grow my career. So I born with a very poor family. I can say below middle class. So I don't want to make my family to settle there as a middle class or below middle class. I want to make them let it end. So I will earn the money. So what is the way? I chose an industrial career path. So I succeeded. Okay, so I want to tell few things data. So yeah, this professor job, teaching job, everyone will imagine it is a prestigious job. It is a very good. And the requirement of the job market, it serves only less than a 5%. So 95% of the job seekers has to move out from that academic and they has to come to industry. So industry is vast and it is open and a lot of jobs are there. So you can see that Kimveda you can type, for example, every alternate week they are posting that job requirement, job requirement, job requirement. In industry, what is the major challenge is lot of openings are there. The quality people. So quality sense only we can find from IIT, ISER, NIPER or some institutions are there, the quality products they are producing. So rest of the people, so what is the job market and how much of the quality is there is very less. So in that I started jumping. I was selected as a postdoctoral person in AstraZeneca India Preventively. It is a top 5 company, pharma company in the world. I worked 1.5 years. Then I moved to Anthem Biosciences. There I learned new drug discovery program, process chemist, then bulk manufacturing, all the things. Now I'm working as a senior principal scientist in Chemveda. So here what you have to do for industry. So everyone will think lot of advertisements are coming, I'm going, I'm not getting a job. So what you have to do, you want to be a successful person in the industry. What you are doing is you have to do what is the subject you are learning, learn with enthusiastically like a hobby. This job and education has to be a hobby. It should not be a burden for, I have to read for exam. I have to clear this one, then only it will feed the food. No, if you love your subject, if you are reading well, it will feed lifelong to you. So that is the career path I chosen and I was successful and I'm surviving the industry in a good manner and I'm trying to explore myself. So how we can beat the China? So what is the China market of pharma industry? They will make the cheaper product. They will make throughout the world has to come behind China and take and go. Why can't we create in India itself? So we are working towards create a pharmaceutical ingredients and APIs cheaper than China. Let it the world depend on India. So that is my goal, and I'm working on that. I have achieved few APIs in my previous organization. I'm the in charge for the KSM, key starting material synthesis. We stopped from completely that 2-3 products from China, and India is one of the major producer of that API. Now they are exporting. So the same thing I want to do in a bigger manner. So India has to be a successful country. We are not dependent on any of the pharmaceutical ingredients or APIs to China or other world. So this is my motto and we are working. I achieved certain things, still we are exploring. Yes, I will.
There is a very interesting question that how can a maths major get into industry? Yeah,
Maths,
both of you.
yeah. Maths students, they are thinking that they can't do only teaching job they can do. It's not like that. So they can do CA and they can create, they can become entrepreneur and they can start that job. And even these max students are one of the brilliant people, brilliant minds, I can say. They can make wonders. And they should not depend on the max means I will teach the max only. And with that, how to convert as a value added products, they will tell. In that way, they can work and they can make. So in India, a lot of exams are there, for bank exams are there. So it is also another sector. Instead of teaching, they can enter the bank. So like that, a lot of opportunities are there, they can take the jobs.
Okay, sir, I have a question to Rakesh, sir. So now that Gopi sir has said that the academy is a competitive field,
Yes.
and for middle class people, it's hard to maintain their family with the stipend we get from a PhD. So, what are the important things that we should really consider before choosing a PhD? Now that we are in finishing our MSc, what are the
So PhD, when you are taken, you are completing a master's. So always I will suggest two things. Anyone, even for me also, I ask the question myself: what I want to be, where I want to be. This is the question everyone asks yourself, and you have to set. I want to be a professor and scientist. Then obviously you have to go for doctorate. Okay, and you want to learn some advanced technology and you want to be an entrepreneur or you want to be a very good position in an industry, obviously you have to choose a PhD, postdocs, you have to complete that cycle. And you don't want to do that laboratory work and I don't want to run behind the chemical labs and again that cycle I don't want. I want to settle my life very faster. I have to earn money very faster. Then you have to enter industry faster after MSc. Don't think that in industry, if you are enter, you have to throughout the life, you have to work like that. If you are sincere and you learn within 2 years, you will be promoted to senior. For example, pharma industries, I will tell you, promoted as a senior, then team lead, then group lead. So once you are promoted as a senior chemist, you will be out of lab. You will lead 2-3 person. Then you will become a team lead. You have the group of 10 people. Then senior group lead. Then you will be associate director. Then CEO. Then you can establish yourself a new industry. You will become an entrepreneur. So for this, you no need of PhD. If you are good in masters, you can enter industry. You prove yourself. All the pharma industries are giving part-time PhDs. If you see, I've seen many companies, the CEOs and the directors all are part-time PhDs only. They are very good in science. They learn the skills and they finish the PhD and they have their own pharmas now. Many people, for example, A.V. Ramarao is one of the successful person in India and he's a CSIR scientist. He worked in NCL Pune. He thought, I don't want this science lab and he was bored. He told himself, bored, he don't want, I want to earn money. Then he started a pharma company, chemical company, it's not a pharma, chemical company, A.V. Ramarao Chemicals. And a very big catalog he is exporting now. He is one of the lead chemical producer in India. So like that, you can achieve anything. So for that, you have to ask question what I want to be. For example, pharma, if you are entering, there are two jobs are there, analytical or R&D. Everyone knows these two only. There are a lot of white collar jobs are there. After completing MSc, you enter take as a quality control or R&D, any job, 1 or 2 years work, get a experience of pharma field. Then you do project management, PMP course are there. So once if you are complete the project management, you will become a project manager. This project management course is like a GRE TOEFL online exam only. After completing that one, if you are having the MSc chemistry, then you can enter pharma, first project manager. Then there is no limitation. Once you are completed project management course, you can move to any kind of industry. Even you can jump to pharma, to software, mechanical, electrical industry, any kind of industries you can enter, and you will. After completing the MSc, some of my juniors, they are in the crores of rupee package as a project managers in the pharma industry. Some are in mechanical companies, car companies, they are earning. And other opportunity, if you see master degree, if you want to take as a safety officer, there are some safety courses are there. If you are completing the safety courses, you will become a safety officer in pharma company, in construction site, anywhere you can move. There are quality and regulatory course, diploma course, 6 months course are there, 1 year course are there, or regulatory law course, 1 year course are there. If you complete that one, you can join as a quality assurance person or regulatory person in pharma or any other industries. So like that, variety of jobs are there. It's not that I completed science, I will be like a machine, I will do a reaction, I will be in lab, not like that. So that's what I'm telling. What is my skill set? What I want to be, where I want to be. I want to be a quality officer. I want to be a safety officer. I want to be a program manager. I want to be a pure scientist. So what you want to be? For example, if you are entering an analytical field, this is a field you can become a head of analytical, head of formulation. You can earn crores of money. You can go abroad. As a US or UK, anywhere formulation industries you can join with the crores of rupees salary, and you can live your life happily. No need of PhD at all if you're choosing your career as an analytical. So in that way, lot of opportunities are there. For that, no need of PhD. Whatever the groups I said now, divisions I said, no need of PhD. Only with the MSc, and you have the talent, you can explore yourself, you can earn more money, you can live your happy life. But one of my advice is, for example, if many people what they do, I seen that live example, my previous organization, one of the professor quit his job. He felt, what he felt is, it is a routine more in teaching and the same thing, nothing interesting. So industry, if I come, I can earn more money. He quit the job and he came to industry. He can't able to run the speed. So academy is different. They will publish and they scientifically they will work more. Here also scientific will be there, with that smartness will be there. You have to run very fast to achieve your goal. So the work which is happening in academy for 1 year, it will happen in industry 2 months. That much of resource will be there, money will be there, infrastructure will be there. He can't able to catch up the speed. And he quitted and he went and joined in a private university later 2 years. So like that, that's what I told beginning itself. You have to fix your career path. You have to think before that what I'm going to be, where I have to be after 2 years, 5 years, 6 years. Then choose your career. So everyone can't become a scientist. Everyone can't be a professor or teacher. So that jobs are very limited, and 5% of people can achieve. Rest has to come to industry. Once if you are gain a knowledge, then as Samir said, you can choose one of the career path as an entrepreneur. So you can start your startup after getting. What I will advise you guys, everyone will think. There are less number of people are succeeded without experience. They started with their key ideas, they are succeeded. So you need a experience. What is that industry, how it functions, what I can do differently. Then you need a business person for that. So any business with a, if you are starting an industry with a scientific as well as a business team, if it is mixed together, you will be a successful entrepreneur. I believe Samir will accept. If I'm wrong, please correct it.
Yeah. I think very good, information, point by point information, like how one MSc student can evolve himself or herself. And very good questions we have from audience. I think Samir has already written the answer of it, but maybe Samir, you can again elaborate that the question asked by Rajalakshmi. This mentality of settling down.
So, the ground reality is that society is evolving, and the kind of world that we live in is very different from the world that your parents were living in. So the ground reality is change, and change is the new reality. And you should also see how how technology is changing. You have to be a risk taker. And by the way, I wanted to mention one thing is that, by the way, all of us are entrepreneurs. Okay. And I would like to elaborate first on that, why all of us are entrepreneurs. So, all of you are graduating right now. You are all BSMS students and looking for jobs. You have to be an entrepreneur when you look for a job. You have to figure out, and by the way, working for a company or working for a university, it's also an entrepreneurship. So in case you work for a company, then you your client is your company, right? Your client is your company, and you are into services business. That's what you are in. You are into services business. You are a consultant. You provide your 8 hours, 10 hours of work 5 or 6 days a week. In return, well defined work. In return, the company gives you health benefits, salary, and whatnot. You still have to be very creative. You have to still even getting a job, you need a sales pitch. You have to figure out, you have to sell yourself. When you get that company job, you have to sell yourself. You have to kind of you have to have a sales pitch ready when you appear for interview. You have to have a vision, as Gopi sir was telling you, right? 5 years, 6 years down the line, you have to have a vision, a business plan, so as to say, it's a business plan. I will go to the industry, I'll become I don't know, security officer, or what all different career options that Goku sir was mentioning. That is the business plan of plan side of things. Then the sales side of things I mentioned, and then that there are people skills. If you want to grow in your career as a businessman serving another company as an employee, then you still need people skills. Now Gopi sir is managing 3, 4, 5, I don't know, maybe more employees, and then he still has supervisors over him. So that is the kind of but the idea is all of us are businessmen, and you are going to become one soon. When you go look for a job, you have to be businessmen. And just let me tell you one thing, that in terms of technical skills, you are overqualified already. You don't need more technical skills than what you have right now, because you take up any job, you will learn everything that you have to learn within a year. In terms of technical skills, all of you are super smart. You go to a company, whatever job profile you have, within 1 year you are going to be super pros. The only thing you are not pro at is the rest of it, and you're not trained for it. For any kind of job, you don't require only technical skills, which is only 25% of it, and you have been trained for that 25% only. Unfortunately, that is the reality. But what you need is also sales skills. Having a business model is important as your long-term vision as to what you want to become, let's say. And that might change over time, and it changed for me, it changed for a lot of people, it changes for a lot of people. So having 25% is sales, 25% is having a business model. When I say business model, a vision, and 25% of it is people skills. So you need all that to make you whole, and all these things are important for your holistic growth, not just technical skills, for which I can tell you are overqualified. You can learn pretty much anything. Any of you, if I give you a certain profile, be it mechanical engineer, aerospace engineer, it doesn't matter if you are a civil engineer and I tell you to be a aerospace, CAD designer or something, within 1 year you will be good at it, because 5 years of training at ICER, I'm pretty sure in terms of technical skills, all of you are good. But what you have to do is to become good at all these other aspects, which you will, as you go through the process of securing a job, you will realize that you need all these other things also. So try to focus on that. And don't plan too much in advance. You need to have a vision, but your priorities, as it changed in my case, and it changes in a lot of other people's cases, your priority will change 10 years from now. You don't know what you will be doing and where you will be. You don't have any idea. So don't plan too much in advance. Have a vision. When I started my PhD, I wanted to go into intellectual property law. That's what I wanted to do. Now it might sound ridiculous, but that's what I wanted to do, And there is a long story of which all places I applied to, and I wanted to also finish my PhD fast. That's why I went to Europe, so I could finish it fast. So I did finish my PhD fast, but by the time I went there, my priorities had changed already, And so don't plan too much in advance. Having vision is really good. Do have a vision, but your life can take you anywhere. You don't know 10 years down the line where you are going to be. So that is a short piece of advice I have for you.
Yeah, I think what she is asking, and what I think many of us want to know, as you mentioned, priorities will change as time goes. I have seen you when you graduated your MSc program, and then after that, when you came back from your PhD, and I could see the same person, but much more relaxed, and a person who accept more things. So there are certain change which we should do in our what I would say in uh, our personality in order to achieve something. And how you cope up with the society, like say everyone want you to get settled. There is a pressure of everything at that stage when you are completing PhD, when you are maybe going to get a job, you have a good opportunity of job, but no, you want to do something entrepreneur, but if you get a job, your life is secure as per the societal society want. So how you manage that, because you are the person who is live example for us.
So it really depends on your personal situation and your temperament also. So we are driven right now, a lot of us are driven, I assume that most of us are from middle class, lower middle class families, and we are, a lot of us until now, at this stage of our life, we are driven a lot by society, but that will not be the case 5 years down the line. Uh, Eventually your own temperament will take over, and not societal conditioning won't matter anymore after 5 years from now. Trust me on this. You are meant for something. You have a certain temperament, and so all of this is not going to matter. You just take up a job, you do PhD, whatever you take, eventually you will realize what you really enjoy and what you really love doing. And there is no such thing as permanent job. Go give civil services exam. What are your odds of getting selected? And then for what? Do you have a temperament? Maybe you have a temperament, so attempt for it. You will like it. Maybe even just preparing for it, you will like it. But societal conditioning is not going to be there forever. 5 more years and it will all be gone. And then just be you, and to make yourself happy, I think you should be asking yourself, what do I love doing? What do I love? What do I enjoy the most? Those questions will overtake eventually.
Sir, I wanted to ask you a question, and I think all of you can answer this. So, how can we do quality science without doing a PhD? Because PhD is considered a basic for a scientist. So, quality science as a scientist without doing a PhD.
I think both can answer this very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, quality science. Okay, so in that quality is within you, what I want to do. Okay, so that makes the difference. You want to copy paste from something XYZ literature to you want to substitute and publish a paper, then quality goes away. What is the originality? So what kind of problem you are choosing? You want to get a solution for that. So in PhD also, that professors are they will they will guide you, and you have to choose your problem, and you have to solve the problem. If you have chosen a quality problem, you are a quality scientific person. That's it. That's what I felt. Even for example, during my PhD period, my boss left IIT, and without boss, I completed PhD. Then I can able to choose the problem that created the strong willpower within me. I can do anything, any wonder. So you can choose yourself what I am doing. I am doing a quality problem, I am chosen, then you are a quality scientist. You are chosen a copy paste, then you are a poor scientist. I believe I addressed your question.
I would like to add a little bit to that. So
Yes.
I've seen wonderful entrepreneurs who are technically really, really, really sound, and who are not from IITs or IISERs or anywhere, but from small colleges. But it's just their passion to do technical stuff that they've created wonderful products that are actually helping societies in India. So you don't have to necessarily do a PhD to solve major problems. can still do it without it also.
Okay, sir.
And once you develop something, people will give you honorary PhD degree anyway.
Yes, if you achieve in the field, any field, in cine field or music or whatever the field, if you achieve something, definitely honorary doctorate degree you will get. You will become a doctorate.
Yeah,
No need of degree for that.
So one other option is science related field after MSc, like science communication, policy making. How can we go to those fields? What are the opportunities? How bright is that career? Can some of you comment on this? Science related fields, science communication, policy making, science journalism.
So you are asking about that scientific publication, scientific publishing. Am I correct?
So not only industrial jobs, other science related jobs, other science related
So
careers.
other science related job means lot of jobs are there. So if you are good in writing, so there are officers are there in even industries, private companies are there that law and patent making, and so whatever the science industries are doing, it is infringing or non-infringing science. It is they will analyze. So if you are good in writing, there are publishers are there, book writers and magazines, scientific commenter. So you can take a job in that. Or if you are a very good designer, then there are software jobs are there. So like PerkinElmer is developing Chemdra, SSDA, lot of softwares are there, even biology also. So they used to hire that science background students, MSc, for scientific discussion and to understand the science. So you have to communicate. If you are a good communicator, then you can choose that job also. It's a non-scientific job. And you can explain the concept to a software person to make it visualize that one. So these are the opportunities are there.
So there is a common insecurity regarding jobs. So people are asking, how can I get a job if I'm a physics major and I'm this and I'm that? So there is this common insecurity, and to address that insecurity, I would just like to tell you that all of you are technically really sound to get whatever demanding job in IT and whatnot, you know. The only problem is, as I mentioned, those other skills that you do not have, which is having a clear vision as to what you want to do right now. That is number one. Number two, good sales pitch. If you know what you want to do, you can prepare for that accordingly. Second is sales pitch, being a good communicator. All of you are capable enough to take lot of variety of jobs. You know, there is technically you are all sound. So first is having a vision as to knowing what you really want to do. That is one. Two is having a sales pitch, being a good salesperson. You don't need grades for that. Trust me on this. You need networking. You need to know how you position yourself with whatever skills you already have from your BSMS degree. And third thing is people skills, because you know you are going to network. So you have to be bold, you have to be creative, you have to be a risk taker. You want a job, certain job, go get that job. You know, nothing is stopping you. And I'm already telling you again and again, you are overqualified for most of the starting level jobs. Most of you are overqualified for the common jobs in IT. For example, if you want to become a software engineer, it doesn't matter if you're physics major or whatever, biology major or whatever, you know, you need that 75% to make you that whole. You are not that. So you try to develop those other skills. Technically, all of you are good. Don't have those insecurities. Technically, you don't need to be technically better than what you are right now. Land yourself a good job. Just land yourself your first job, and everything else will just fall into place. Trust me on this.
So I would to like know your opinion, Samir sir. Like um, entering to an entrepreneur career is a risky thing. Like most of the startups which start eventually may not succeed or may not be at that end up. So my question is, how is the startup development infrastructure in India? Is it how comfortable it is for emerging startup to bud in India compared to others abroad?
There are a couple of questions here. The first question is the risk taking. Again, I'm telling you, it depends on your personal situation and your temperament a lot. Any kind of, to be good at anything, you require 8,000. That's the rule of thumb, is to be good at anything, to reach the top of anything. You require 8,000 hours of hard work. That is the rule of thumb. So if you want to become an entrepreneur, start your countdown right now. 8,000 hours of work and you will be a good entrepreneur. Trust me on this. So, start that countdown right now. It'll be a lot easier for you. I started my countdown at the age of 30 something. I had already a lot of responsibilities. Still, I decided to take the leap of faith because, that's what the inner calling was. But it's still too young, and you are just getting started. And let me tell you that, the skill set at every stage is very different. So a job cannot make you a good entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is a different species altogether. And there are a lot of similarities. So in a way, all of us are entrepreneurs. That is also equally true. But of the all different attributes that any job would require, I think entrepreneurship is a lot about, just to tell you the difference, it's a lot about risk taking. You are the driver, and you have a lot of stress tolerance, which, by the way, comes with time.
How do you evaluate the Indian system? How supportive is Indian startup development environment for?
It's not about being supportive or not supportive. You have to align your interests with whatever ecosystem that you are part of, and what the society wants. You cannot complain that this country is better or that country is better. Every system is different, and as an entrepreneur, to be successful, you have to align whatever your vision, mission, whatever, with the societal needs, and then rest will follow.
Yes, sir, that was it.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, it do make sense. Many people complain that there are friends who say it's better to do a PhD and start working on your entrepreneur ideas while abroad.
PhD will never make you an entrepreneur. That mindset, really. You can become an entrepreneur right now if you really want to be. And that's what I'm telling you, that I am part of the startup ecosystem in Pune. And I can tell you that so many people, highly talented and have highly successful companies and creating really a lot of value for this country, do not have PhDs, and they are technically better than any PhD that I have seen in their field. And they are really creating wheelchairs for handicapped, and they are creating all sorts of solutions for all sorts of societal needs without having a PhD.
Okay, sir, that explains a lot.
Yeah,
Now-
Samir. So
Yes, sir.
for your question, so PhD is nowhere related with entrepreneurship. So you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to start a startup or something, you need a basic idea. So even that idea is enough. For example, recently one person started with Tata's entrepreneurship, and Tata supported to start a startup for pharma cheap medicines throughout the country. And like that, many people are there to support you money wise. You need the quality of the what you are going to do. In that, quality idea has to be there. That is important. That's what I believe. Then people are there to support you and start you, encourage you. And you think that is my idea is worth and it will lead to me a successful entrepreneur, then you can become an entrepreneur. That's what I feel.
Okay, sir, that explains, I think.
There are a lot of questions for biology majors. Of course, physics major, math major also there, and pretty much what Samir has explained. But if you look at the job perspective, there are many jobs starting from like nowadays in India. This science journalism has become pretty much attractive. one can take that as a job. You can start having your vision to go in industry. Chemistry and biology people, in fact physics people, they can have lot of jobs in the industry just after MSc. And of course PhD, it just add up for the sake of qualification. But if you have a quality, they will hire you at MSc level as well. um, you can go abroad for PhD, masters, and at that time you can explore different jobs. But it is just as I think Samir and Dr. Gopu told, it is just about your vision, what you want to do. Just sit down and think what you really want to become, and then you will realize what job you want to do. And you can interact with anyone who might be your teachers, or maybe like Samir or like Dr. Gopu, and you will get the clarity. But first you should know what you would like to do, what you would like to become. And that also, as a first year student, you might not want to finalize it. You just analyze yourself, and eventually you freeze it during the course of your 5-year program. And also you are not rigid at that stage, also explore things and eventually choose what you really want to do. So there are a lot of scopes in the pharma industry. The jobs as an editor, like one can also become, if you are good in English, as Gopu said, you can be a editor, associate editor of many journals. But it all depend upon how you are working towards it. If you want to become that, you might have to train yourself. You might have to get some skills regarding that, so that will help you to achieve when you want to do that job. So yeah, that's what I want to say. Maybe Gopu and Samir can add that.
Yeah, that's what. So it's biology or physics or maths, whatever the subject you are good in your technical knowledge, then you can get a job. Don't worry. And you have to be a good. So you should not think that I know or not. That question should not come. I know, I can. So then you will get a job. So many are writing for biology jobs. So all the pharma industries are work hand in hand with biology. So they have that biology division also. They used to hire MSc biochemistry, biotechnology, PhD biochemistry, postdocs in biochemistry. I can say that many companies like Biocon, Syngene, GVK Biosciences, Anthem Biosciences, Origin, many companies are there. Dr. Reddy's, this Serum Institute, whatever now you are hearing that COVID vaccine produced, Bharat Biotech, like that, many companies are there. So you have to open up your eyes and you have to apply for the job aggressively. So until you are hunting, searching the job where it is there, then you will not succeed. Sitting in a place and comfortably somebody will come and give a job, arrange a campus means it is a tough.
So
Very said.
as biology, Gopu has mentioned, nowadays, not I would say nowadays, because academics is too far from what industry is achieving by developing biology mimics. These are called biologics,
Yes.
and there are many such material where this true biology person is needed, who has done real molecular biology or cell biology or any type of biological studies or biological experience. That person may help in the pharma industries where they develop biologics. And nowadays, people are moving towards the drugs which are more like what is present in our human body. So biosimilars. So there are a lot of opportunity for biology people. And again, I'm just correlating this biology work with mathematics people, that there are a lot of people who need to simulate these phenomena. And now what is happening is, if you are not working, or if you don't have interest in the interdisciplinary field, then it is very difficult. But at the same time, if you would like to solve the problem of biologist as a mathematician, you are the best person to be chosen by the company, if you put that perspective, yes, I can solve this problem. So like that, you have to develop your skills. Somebody is also asking, what are the skills one has to develop? The skills is the one you should choose the problem. Okay, this is the problem which I am feeling, and that is needed by that particular company or by that particular profile. I can start learning towards that, right? You choose one or two skills where you can make yourself as a master, right? And then you can go for it, and then certainly you will achieve so-called masters in that particular area. And no, you are the one who is going to get that job. Yeah, Samir, please. Can I
Yeah.
add?
So there is a request that we are attaching a feedback form for all the audience. If you have any doubts for future or any suggestions for any other programs that needs to be done in the future, please share it with the in the feedback form, and we'll continue the discussion now.
And somebody has posted.
So there is a question about securing investments for startups. So one thing I can tell you is that you are never limited by money. You are limited by your own, limitation is just you, not the money. Money is plenty of money is out there and people don't know what to do with it. And people usually invest in people, not your business idea, nothing. They just see you and they invest. And by the way, I never sought any investment. I started from zero, spend my own money initially, a small amount, and then, very organically I grew because I had no skills, you know, apart from technical, because all my background was academic. So when I really told you that you sincerely need to develop, you sincerely, all of you have to become an entrepreneur in a way. When I tell you that, I tell you very sincerely, you need sales skills. You are asking a biochemistry major, how can I get a job? Go to the front door of the company, knock their door, figure out who the manager is, and just beg for a job. If that's what it takes, go get a job. Go be there. After you have your first job, you will get a second one very easily. After that, the rest will be history. But are you going to make that effort? Are you going to be out of that comfort zone? You're already overqualified technically. Let me tell you that again and again and again. Can't stress enough. All of you can do the starting level jobs. You have what it takes. Two pair of hands and capacity to work hard.
But sir, I know many friends now who have graduated but are not able to find jobs. Unemployment is, I mean, securing the first job is also a difficult thing. And any advice on?
Work very very hard, improve your, not your technical skills, improve your sales skills. Go out there, just ask those people not getting a jobs and how hard have they tried. Have they knocked on the doors of these companies, where they want a job? How hard they have tried. You have to try harder than others. We are 1.3 billion people over here. Of course there's going to be a competition, but it's all about beating the competition, and what all can you do to beat that competition. And it's again not technical. You just go out there. If you want to get a job, go get a job. You have to be better than others, right? And but better than others in what? Technical skills? No, you have a degree. What more technical skills do you need? They will train you for it. So it's a lot is about networking skills, how you sell yourself and all that, less about your technical skills.
So we are running short of time, so we can take a few more questions. And there is a interesting question like from Nasir Ahmad. So the question is, uh, how do you motivate yourself when you? Okay, that's the question.
I can't hear you.
So the question was, how do you motivate yourself at the time of earlier failures or career loss? Any
Yeah,
tips on that?
yeah. So the failure is really good for you. The earlier you fail, the better it is. The later you fail in life, the harder it is going to be for you because you will get your success for granted. And so early failure is really good.
So how
If you
to?
not try hard and fail. Now you are still young. Try hard and fail again and fail again and fail again, and you will come out of it stronger and stronger than ever.
Sir, thank you, sir. So
It's all about experience. You learn to cope with failure with experience. If you have not failed enough, you will not have enough experience to cope with it later in life. So but it's important to fail. It's important to first try. You cannot get a job, then go try really hard and then fail. And then by that time you have learned a lot of people skills. By that time you have learned a lot of sales skills. By that time you have a vision because you have been trying really, really hard to find a job for 1 year and you have not found a job. So if you are making effort, then it's all worth it. All that effort is going to eventually pay off because all these other skills that I was mentioning, you are developing those skills. And you don't realize it's going to pay off later, and you will just say, I have all these skills, but it was that failure that taught you all these lessons. So failure is really good. Earlier, the better.
okay, sir. And
Yeah, to add on this, so the job. Okay, so why they are not getting 1 year or so, your friends are not getting job. So they has to identify first to themselves what is the gap I have. They has to why others are getting what they are having, what I'm not having that. So they have to fulfill that gap. So they are not a good seller, as Samir said in an interview. What is mean by interview? So in interview, you have to sell yourself. If you are a good seller yourself, you can't sell means you will not get the job. And if you are technically good, then what they will see in interview, first you have to understand that only 4 questions will be there. How technically good you are good in technical, then how you are communicating, how is your analytical ability, how is your leadership quality, how is your clarity in rest of the things. If you are good in that, definitely you will get a job. And if you are not technically strong, you have to fill that. So what is the job requirement? What I don't have that skill. Put some effort, read it, understand it, then go and attack. You will get it definitely. So for example, I will tell for especially PhD, those who are completing PhD, after that they will go and knock. So somebody wrote also, I'm not getting a job after PhD pharma company, I'm not selected. Many friends will ask. So what they will do during the PhD, they will work with a narrow area. So they will not look other science. Whatever they read in MSc, they will forget it. Everything they will forget. They know what they are doing that small narrow area. If you are going for the job, they will not ask only question on that narrow area. So what is your broader perspective of science? What is your visionary? What and all you know, what you learned during the PhD. Other than that, what you know, how your knowledge will be useful for the company. Like that. So what they will do as such with their PhD thesis and presentation, they will go and present it. If you ask, how will you do other than this? How will you make this molecule? They don't know. They can't explain. They will forget all the basic concepts. Then they will seek a job. Then company will think, without basement, how I can build a building. So sorry, boss, I don't want you. So what you have to do when you are completing your PhD or you are in specialization of something else, you have to put some effort to learn the things what I missed in this 4 years, 5 years, where I am lacking. You sit and read and you fill the gap. Then you go as a complete package, sell yourself, get a job. So if you are not selected means there is a problem with you. Either communication or technical or analytical ability, something will be there. What is the gap? You have to fill it and definitely you will achieve. I will tell myself as an example. I did in bioorganic chemistry as a PhD. I worked with tocopherols, vitamin. Other than vitamin, my mind is not worked 5 years. Only vitamin. I forgotten rest of the molecule. Sometimes I will imagine how to start the numbering of this heterocycle. Is this left side or right side? So then I realized before going in industry or any job, I had to brush up. How I read during the time of MSc, CSA or GATE, I had to get that my knowledge level in that way. I had to face it. Then I sat for a few months. I worked hard for 2 months. What are the concepts? All get CSR material. Then I was confident. Anything I can address, any molecule I can split up. Then I went and attended the interview in AstraZeneca. First interview. There are 200 applications. Among the 200, I am the only person selected. So you have to work hard to get the job. You should not go understand what I know, with that you select me. They will not select. What company you want, you have to prepare very well what company is doing, what their requirement, or I am having the skill set. If it is missing, I will get that skills, then I will knock the doors, I will get the job. So this how you can get the job. If you are prepared very well for interview, how you are preparing for competitive exam, the same manner you have to sit and read and prepare for 1 month. It is enough. What the industry wants, or what academy want, what next level job want, what are the requirements, where I am, what I have to know to get the job or that position, then you will achieve definitely.
And I would like to add something to it.
Yeah, please.
From the other side, from the side of an employer, and I can tell
Yeah.
you that it's hard finding the right people. So there are jobs.
Yes.
Jobs out there. And
Yeah.
other thing that I would like to mention is that after this call, there are 200 of you. I can bet that not even 1% will write to, Gopu sir or Rakesh sir or me. They would not dare to add us on LinkedIn, or they would not dare to write an email to us. They will not. And that's the reality, that's the reality. And I'm telling you upfront, and still nobody will do it. I know.
Yes, beginning of my talk, I told the same thing. You can search in LinkedIn or Naukri. We are searching 25 vacancies are there. We are not getting the good quality chemists. We are keep on conducting every alternate week interviews. We can't able to select. Degrees are there. Quality degrees are not there. That is a problem in the market. So if you are a quality person, if you have all the qualities, 100% I will assure you have the job. Don't think about I'm a physics, maths, or any subject. You are worth for the degree, definitely you have the future.
So 25, 50 of you are graduating, right? We have 25 jobs right here that we right now created just by this discussion. So Gopu sir has 25 jobs. So please do.
Yes, you can write to me, you can share. So you can see that walk-in interviews, alternate week they are posting. And I can tell that MSc chemistry, the figures right now I'll tell. Origin Bangalore having 60 job vacancies. GVK Biosciences in Hyderabad having 100 plus vacancies. Sai Life Sciences in Hyderabad, they have 150 plus vacancies for MSc graduates. Jobs are there, but quality chemists are not there. That's a problem. Job market, job is open. Plenty of jobs are there. So students are not equipped for the job. That is a problem. Even if you can imagine that Infosys Narayana Murthy is telling the same words. I'm getting a lot of CVs. I'm getting people, but I'm not getting the quality people. So they are telling software there is no job. No, it is there. Quality is not there. Now what they are doing, Infosys having a Chennai and Mysore Employment Development Center. They are hiring the fresh MSCs or BTech, MTech. They are developmental skills. They are teaching them what required for the job related skills. Even that Syngene having that skill developmental center for MSc students. So they are giving the input, what are the skills required and what and all they don't have. They are making skilled employees, and those who are performing good, they are taking for the job. So companies are came down, and I will train and I will take a job. So before that, I can't offer you like that. That is a real situation in the market for job.
Yeah. So I think what I understand and my experience and other who are right now in the industry, everything depend upon you, and we cannot complain that we are not getting job or we don't have this particular so-called placement office which will give us a job. No. I have experience of IIT Bombay. You know, people give job on your skills, and you have to earn those skills. And starting from your basics, what you are trained for. Let's say if you're a biology or chemistry major, first you should be very much confident that you want to explain this and you know it, right? After that you get other skills which are needed for you to succeed, like what Samir mentioned, that you have to have a sales uh, person skills. Not that you're going to have a salesman, you're not going to sell anything, you have to sell yourself. So you have to learn that, and you can learn by any way. There is a lot of open platform nowadays available. But you need to have that zeal. Yes, I want to understand that, and I want to focus in that area. And you will be the one person like job. I mean, today I will tell you experience. Today I had interviewed 13 students for my JRF position, and it was very difficult to come to the conclusion because whatever skills I want to have, I couldn't find. People were having their own fellowship. I mean, I am giving fellowship to them, but I couldn't find the right person. There are one or two people we kind of shortlisted, but still I'm not very happy. So again, if someone is there who is actually they have trained that person to that area which I wanted to have, certainly it is win-win situation for me. I will immediately take it, right? So every one of us, we are different. We are doing math, chemistry, physics, biology. We can train ourselves again in different disciplines, different topics. But first, you need to understand that your basics of the technical skills, that should be very strong, and then you add up the other skills. And other skills are very open. There are many students here who can teach each other, who have learned or who could learn faster, so they can help each other. And that's how I think in IITs it goes. Samir can explain that how being in IIT, one person, even though he is a MSc chemistry, he will be getting a job of like that time 2006 20 lakhs in bank, right? ICICI Bank or maybe some other banks, so or software companies. So it all depend upon what you want to do. So that's how you decide, and then you try to interact with the people. And the tradition we have to make it here at ISR Barhampur, and you all people have to make that, being as a first batch, second batch, third batch, and fourth batch. So I mean, this is like a beginning, and we other people will definitely remember that. Yeah.
Sir, adding to that, what can we do, like, for see, creating a job oriented, like most of the students passing out from the institute are hoping for getting a PhD, but there are students who lost hope in doing a PhD. So in order to equip them, what can we do in our institute?
See, if someone doesn't want to do PhD, we should not force them, because then again you are actually forcing them to do something which they don't want to do. Let them decide. Let them be free mind, cool. Let them decide what they want to do, and sometime later they will really come up what really they want to do and take up the job. It might be lower job, it's fine, but they should be satisfied, and from there they can grow. But
As a,
what we should do is we should also conduct, or we should create some more platform where we can tell, okay, these are the skills which are needed. There are student programs in IIT Bombay, they used to have where one person can interact, go into that group and get those skills and leadership qualities. And I have seen many people, I mean, they have graduated, they become IAS officers, and I mean they have gained that skills and technical skills they have. They got leadership quality. Like I think one of the general secretary our time, he's an IAS officer. Samir, if you remember that person, he's from Bihar. Um, uh, this name is going from my mind. So likewise, it depends upon how you would like to use your technical skills plus other skills. Yeah.
Yeah, some are writing another question. If I have a good network, then I can get a job. So it is wrong. If you have a good network, that person he can take you or CV to HR. Okay, you will get he can arrange a interview call. That's it. More than that, he can't do. If you are having 55 marks, he can add 5 marks, he can make you to pass. He can't make 30 marks or 40 marks, he can't make you pass. And altogether, ultimately, you need the skills.
I think we have already reached 8 o'clock and we have to wind up now.
Yes.
So, is there any final comments that any of you want to make?
So
Thank you,
my
sir.
final comments to everyone is, all my friends is, you have to upgrade yourself, your knowledge. You have to be a student, evergreen student. You are learning and you are implementing, keep learning. If you stop learning, you will be an outdated person in the market. Either if you are an entrepreneur or if you are a government job or you are a scientist or industrial person, that knowledge learning and gaining has to be a evergreen process, non-stoppable process. You can see that in the market, job loss, job cut. So those who are coming out, why they are selecting them? They may be performing good, but not equal to the others. Those who are upgraded their knowledge and they are running very faster and this thing. So yeah, until you are hunting more and more, more and more in your domain, so you will be the successful person. Are there, develop your skills. Definitely, you guys will win. Thank you.
Amir,
Yes, yes, sir.
maybe you can add.
From my side, I think future is bright. That's what I can tell you. So 10 years from now, you will remember my words, but future is
Yes.
bright. That's
Yes.
all I can tell you. Everything will just fall into place. Now you are entering the real world, which is going to be a lot different than, highly protected world of your uh, academic life, which was your BSMS. Now you are entering the real world. It is going to be tough, but it is going to be beautiful. And you will remember my words 10 years down the line. So.
Rakesh sir, you want to add something more?
And pretty much I said, first prepare yourself technically sound. That's what the advice from both the guests. Uh, and after that, add up these skills. And skills are something which you can learn. And again, learning is up to you. There are a lot of skills you could see everywhere, but if you want to learn, you will immediately learn that. And as an institute, I think we should also have such activity uh, more frequent, so people can come to that platform and then bring up the questions, and those questions we can discuss with the guests, and then get the suggestion from the real, because we are in the academics, and there is in India at least there's a lot more difference between academic and industry, which we should bridge somehow. So that questions can be answered by the eminent people who are right now working, like Samir and Gopu sir. And likewise, some more questions will come which we cannot answer maybe today, but at later stage we can come up with some good answer and then can solve your queries. But the ultimate thing is, prepare yourself, start having your own vision that what you really want to do, and that's all will lead to try to gain you more skills and eventually get the job which you want to do.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So let's wrap up the session
Yeah.
now.
but I want to thank Samir and Gopu, both of you really thankful. I mean, I think more than 1 hour you have given to us. And once this COVID pandemic is over, in real, we would like to have you in campus, interact with our students. And I have seen there are a lot of experiments you have conducted in many places, Samir. So maybe we would also like to have that, kind of this outreach activity. We do, I think, every year in February, but somehow this year we don't know. But that will be really a great addition to our, some sort of practicals or outreach activity we can add in future. And once Gopu Bhaiya is here, we can interact more on what is the real job in industry for chemistry and biology students, and how one can decide at what stage they want to go really in that field. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
As Jagesh sir said, I again sincerely thank from student side, Samir sir and Gobu sir for joining. And of course, Jagesh sir, thank you for introducing us to these great speakers. And I think we feel that we are really thankful. Thank to all of you for giving us such wonderful session. Of course, as part of E-Cell, Entrepreneurship Cell, ICEL Barambur, I thank all the audience who have joined us today. This was the first time we organized such a program with the limitations. I think we had a successful first time. So we hope that everyone enjoyed this program and it will help you in the future. We'll be coming up with such more events like in the future. So support us and stay tuned for this. Also, once again, let me thank each and every one of you. Please leave your feedback in the Google form attached in the chat box. So thank you once again. Have a good night.